Ridiculous moments from The Maury Show prove why it's the ultimate guilty pleasure. Thankfully, there's usually a rerun of The Maury Show. While it's not quite Jerry Springer, it's almost as mad with Maury's bizarre topics, such as, I'm 58, is my 28-year-old boyfriend cheating with my daughter? And, am I the father to my stepdaughter's son? They seem to get more and more trashy every year. With that said, here are some of those drama-filled paternity cases that will keep you hooked on this show.
She told you that she was pregnant. You said it's not
I told her I'll see her when she had a baby. And did I get an invite to come see the baby be born?
Number 4. Channing and DeSean. Channing and DeSean are ex-lovers. DeSean claims Channing was a fling during the separation from his wife, but Channing believes DeSean is the father of her daughter. When they both got on the show, Channing told Maury their so-called fling lasted for about 2 to 3 months. And after that, DeSean was a no-show. He'd seduced her with wine, some lingerie, and even did cute dinner dates at Red Lobster. Channing even proceeds to claim that DeSean had mentioned that he was okay getting intimate without protection because he was ready for kids. However, the situation doesn't stand the same with DeSean, who's in a committed relationship with a woman named Melissa. It was on Facebook that Channing discovered DeSean was getting married to Melissa 3 years later after the birth of Kalia, who's alleged to be DeSean's daughter. Channing is grateful to her brother, who's taken the role of a father for her daughter, and even the brother stands a witness to hosting DeSean and Channing at his home, as well as dropping his sister to his house. Furious, DeSean denies all these accusations and claims to have only been with Channing for a week, and would appreciate if she stopped stalking Melissa on Facebook. Maury asked Channing how she was able to get a hold of DeSean, and she doesn't deny that it got messy and decided to send Melissa a private message, which escalated another issue. Melissa wasn't about to tolerate any bad energy in her marriage since she already had a stable family with DeSean. As a way of getting to the bottom of things, The Maury Show was the only solution for a proper DNA test. Melissa feels Channing is just jealous and probably wants a romantic relationship with DeSean, which she vows will never happen. When DeSean gets to join Channing on stage, she tries to convince Maury and the audience that her daughter Kalia resembled DeSean, but he adamantly denied and accused her of having relations with multiple men. This was the third time DeSean was in such a situation and felt that it could be another plot to ruin his marriage. I know what you're thinking, like, what? Since DeSean wasn't anywhere close to admitting the claims and stepping up as an absentee father, Melissa was also called onto the stage and she also supported her man, claiming they have kids and they look nothing like the girl in the frame. She even brought up the fact that DeSean paid for their dinners with gift cards, which Channing wasn't ashamed of. As things got heated up, Maury decides to kill the tension by reading out the DNA results. It turns out DeSean wasn't the father. Channing, who was full-blown embarrassed, just walked out of the stage as her brother walked out to comfort her. They both apologized to DeSean for accusing him falsely and causing havoc in his relationship. What an L!
You and Stacy were together for a while.
It wasn't really a relationship. It was just like an on and off fling, I guess you could say.
Number 3. Autumn and Treyon. Autumn and Treyon are dating, but Treyon doesn't believe that he's the father of their child, Treyon Jr. Autumn, however, believes Treyon is cheating and sleeping with her best friend, Stacy. When Autumn got to The Maury Show, she expressed her frustration towards Treyon, whom she suspects of having affairs with not only her best friend, but multiple other women. These accusations didn't just come out of the blue. Autumn has busted Treyon naked at their home as Stacy stormed out of the house covering her face. They had met behind her back, not knowing what to assume. She has also found very suggestive text messages on Treyon's phone, which he sees as no big deal, and we will get to that in a minute. Since Treyon claims the baby came out white, he has doubts about being the biological father. Autumn is hurt because she has always been loyal, and even after the birth of their son, she works a 9 to 5 and gets back home to care for their baby. Back to those suggestive text messages. Treyon, while on The Maury Show, left Autumn a message, which he claimed to have loved her and never fooled around with her best friend, Stacy. He just wanted Autumn to accept their friendship and not get in between them. He also demands his space as a man and has the right to do whatever he desired to do since he was tired of having a controlling partner who always picks fights and is delusional. As Treyon got to the stage, he seemed calm and collected, and despite promising to care for the child, he had his doubts about being the child's biological father, but had agreed to care for him no matter the outcome of the results. When asked about his relationship with Stacy, he admitted they had a relationship on and off, but were currently just friends and weren't doing anything behind Autumn's back. He even proceeds to tell her that Stacy has good vibes, and he tells her things he's not able to tell her. Stacy got to the stage and Autumn wasn't having her. Immediately, she called her a betraying friend since the two had been best friends for over 7 years. She couldn't understand why they'd form a friendship behind her back and meet up when she wasn't around. Stacy was clear that she had left Trey on for Autumn and had no sexual feelings toward him. As always, Maury likes to spark up the situation once the drama is brewing. He decides to read the DNA results, and it turns out Treyon is the father of Treyon Jr. When the lie detector test came in, Stacy turned out to be a truthful friend who's never had a relationship with Treyon behind her back. However, Treyon was caught in a lie after his lie detector test proved that he's lied about his sexual relations with other females. Even the days Autumn suspected him of cheating, they were all true, and he had to come clean about sleeping with a girl he had met off Snapchat. Octavia believes she's come to Maury to give her boyfriend Rod a lie detector test. Little does she know, her best friend Ashley has come to reveal 2 shocking secrets. Don't miss these shocking lie detector and paternity results.
You don't tell me I'm beautiful unless I say, hey baby, hey, you handsome today. Like, you don't call me beautiful just out the blue. Like, you never did it.
Number 2, Octavia and Rod. In the history of the Maury Show, this is one plot twist I wouldn't want to be a part of. Maury has a chat with Ashley, Octavia's best friend of over 15 years, and she reveals that she's had a relationship with Rod about 5 to 6 times and even have a daughter together. As it turns out, Ashley had no idea that whom she knew as Buddy was Octavia's Rod, and that's where things got interesting. Maury reveals to Ashley that Octavia has her suspicions and even believes Rod is cheating with multiple women, including her best friend Ashley. Maury decides to hide Ashley backstage and have Octavia join him on stage so he could get to the bottom of things. Octavia shares that the suspicions began 2 months after she moved in with Rod, because all he did was hide his phone. She even tells Maury how suspicious it is when they're together. He always answers his phone, but when they're away from each other, she can even call 14 times without getting an answer. Octavia has been able to catfish Rod on several occasions and uses it as proof of his infidelity. In a chat she shares with the audience, Octavia shows how sleek Rod is and even calls the unknown woman beautiful. This guy even dared to claim he was single, and not fooling around with anyone else. Octavia also reveals a text between Rod and Ashley, who asked Rod if Octavia knew about them, and he responded, no. Now this gets me thinking, did Ashley just lie to all of us at the beginning of the show? According to Rod, he never even knew Ashley until the day they went to pick up Ayani. Maury tries to grill him about showing his private messages with Ashley, which he claims it wasn't him without the solid evidence. When asked if he was on dating websites, he didn't deny the claims, but was shocked that Octavia had catfished him on one of those sites. When Maury requested Ashley to get on stage, she revealed that she knew Buddy long before he got into a relationship with Octavia, and he was the biological father of her daughter. When the lie detector test came out, it turns out Rod was lying about sleeping with Ashley while he was still involved with Octavia. He was also asked about being the father to Ayana, and the lie detector proved that he was lying. When the DNA results came in, the unexpected happened. Rod was not the father.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it. It really works.
You have a secret. Yeah. In fact, there are 2 parts to the secret.
Number 1, Shalonda and Tyrell. Shalonda is back for the 19th time. Except for this time, her husband has something to confess to her. At first I thought I heard Maury wrong, but this woman has indeed been on the show about 19 times. The only difference is that this woman has undergone a massive physical transformation, shedding over 150 pounds. You might remember her past appearances since she's been on the show and has tested over 17 men to find the biological father for her children, Kayla and Tyrell Jr. On stage was Tyrell, who was on the Maury Show because he had a secret to reveal to Shalonda. On the recap, it showed how the 17 different men proved not to be the father of her children. On her previous encounter, they had come with her husband to get the DNA test done on her youngest son, Tyrell Jr., since she cheated on her husband again. However, that had a happy ending because it turns out he was the father. As much as Tyrell says things are going good and his wife is doing much better, he has a secret, and Maury emphasizes that there are 2 parts to the secret. He admits that he had an affair for a couple of years, and it's with his stepdaughter Diana. He tries to act remorseful by claiming not to know how it happened since it's bad, and even Maury cuts him short and tells him it's bad. I get the lady cheated on the guy multiple times, but getting intimate with her daughter as the payback is a whole new rock bottom. Maury says having an affair is bad. With his stepdaughter, it's worse, but there's another part too. He's the father to her son, who's technically Shalonda's grandson. He He even confesses that they were together a month ago before getting on the Maury Show. When Shalonda came on stage, Maury was pleased to see her transformation, and she was very emotional at the beginning that her husband was able to forgive her for all she had done. However, she was scared about Tyrell's secret, hoping it wasn't going to jeopardize their marriage. Even before the guy finishes his confession, Shalonda gets up and starts to take out her jewelry. When he confesses who it was with, Shalonda loses her cool and even tries to throw a chair at him before security comes in between them. When he finishes off by telling her that Sire is his son, Shalonda runs out of breath and tells Maury she couldn't do it anymore. As Diana came on stage, Shalonda lashed out at her as she was very furious about her life choices. Diana told Maury it all begun when Shalonda was cheating on Tyrell and she was there for him. She also shared that Shalonda had previously slept with one of her boyfriends, so it seemed like tit for tat. Tyrell had told Maury he'd been with Diana about a month ago, but she snitched on him and told everyone that he'd called her the previous night before the show, filming to go to her room. At this point, Shalonda lost her cool and came furiously from the backstage area, ready to pounce on them. Scared to reveal the results of the DNA test, Maury mentioned that this was the most painful moment he's ever had on his show, and he's been doing the show for over 21 years. As Maury reads out the results, it turns out Tyrell is not the father of 23-month-old Sire. Were you guys expecting that? The man was so sure that the baby was his.